topic of discussion is the streamline and streamline flow. Okay, so first, the path taken by the particle in flowing fluid is called its line of flow. Try to understand the path which is taken by the particle in flowing fluid. Fluid means you have liquid as well as gas. So path taken by the particle in flowing fluid is called the line of flow. In this figure, path of a particle is shown. See, this is the figure in which the path of particle is shown. It goes like this. Now, generally in moving fluid, the value of velocity and direction is changing, because whenever the fluid is flowing, what happens? At this point the velocity may be different, at the second point velocity is different, because direction of flow is different, speed is different, may be different, may be same speed but the direction is changed, then we can say the velocity is different. Hence particles passing through one point may not move in one path. Okay, the velocity of particle passing through a point in steady flow remains the same. For steady flow, the velocity is same. Now we consider, suppose the velocity of particle pass through point P. Say for example you have this point P, the velocity is Vp. Say at point Q it is Vq. At point R the velocity is Vr. It is in this direction. Okay, and at this point S the velocity is Vs. Hence in steady flow the path of particle pass through point P is shown in as a figure, or it is given in the figure. In steady flow, such type of steady path is known as a streamline. Try to understand, the velocities at different points are different. In steady flow, the path of particle pass through point P is shown in this figure. Say for example you have a particle at point P and it is moving on this particular path. Okay, the particle of fluid which is passing through point P is moving on this particular path. Okay, in steady flow such type of steady path is called the streamline. In steady flow, line of flow and streamline coincide with each other. Now let us consider streamline, the path in which the tangent to the streamline at any point gives the direction of all the particle passing through that point. Then this path is known as streamline. So it is the point where the tangent is drawn, and in the direction of tangent, okay, there is a streamline, or we can say the path in which the tangent to the streamline at any point gives the direction of all the particles passing through that point. So if you have a streamline, say for example you have this as a streamline, then this tangent is drawn in this direction. Say for example at this point the tangent is drawn in this direction, and the tangent, that is direction of tangent, okay, the path in which the tangent to the streamline at any point gives the direction of all the particles. So we can say that the tangent which is drawn here gives the direction of the all particles which are passing through this point. Try to understand. At this point the tangent is in this direction, so all the particles direction of motion is shown by this particular tangent. This way all other points you can take, say one point is taken somewhere here, okay, then the tangent will be in this direction. So the direction of the particle is in the direction of tangent. So tangent drawn at a streamline will give the direction of all the particles passing through that particular point. Okay, the flow in which the streamline can be defined, then this flow is streamline flow. In unsteady flow of line be defined, but streamline you cannot define. Now there is a derivation of equation of continuity for the steady flow for incompressible fluid. Okay. If in steady flow we draw streamline of every particle, then certain, or we can say then creation form like tube. All the streamlines if you draw, then they will produce a structure like tube. This tube is known as tube of flow. It is called the tube of flow. It is flow. So if you are collecting all the streamlines, then these streamlines will make a kind of structure which is a tube like structure, and this flow is called the tube of flow. Okay. No any particle goes outside from this tube and no any other particle enter in this tube. Okay. Now this figure is given. Okay. Tube of flow is shown, and there are points which are P, R and Q which are there in the tube of flow. Okay. Let us consider that velocity of the different particles at these points are, say, Vp, Vq and Vr, that is velocity of fluid particle at these points, and area of cross section at P is denoted by AP, area of cross section at point R is denoted by AR, and area of cross section at point Q is denoted by AQ. Now see, flow is steady, so number of particles passing point P, Q and R, they are same. This flow is steady, therefore number of particles which are passing through P, R and Q, they will be same. Now mass of the fluid at cross sectional area AP with velocity Vp in delta t time, that mass can be found. Now see, mass is nothing but density multiplied by volume. Now say for example, we have considered the velocity at point P as Vp. So distance travelled by the fluid in time interval delta t will be Vp into delta t. So distance travelled is Vp into delta t. That length, so this length multiplied by area of cross section will give you the volume of the fluid passing. So Vp delta t into A will give you the volume of the fluid which is passing through point P in time interval delta t, and this volume multiplied by density, say density of the fluid is rho, will give you the mass at point P, that is AP Vp delta t into rho. We have AP as area of cross section at point P. If you want to write the same equation for Q, say for example you want to write the equation for the mass which is coming out from this Q point, or the area of cross section at Q, and mass at Q is nothing but volume into density. Again, volume of the fluid is nothing but length, that is distance travelled by fluid in time interval delta t. Here the velocity is Vq, so Vq multiplied by delta t will be the length multiplied by area of cross section at Q, that is AQ multiplied by rho. So this will be the mass which is coming out at point Q, and it is denoted as MQ. It is written here. Okay. AQ VQ delta T into rho, and mass at R is AR VR delta T into rho. Now in delta T time, mass entering and leaving is same, because no other particle is entering or leaving the tube. So we can say that mp, mass at point P, mass which is coming out at point R, and mass at Q, that is mq, they are same. So we are equating this AP VP delta T rho, AR VR delta T rho, and AQ VQ delta T into rho. So this delta T into rho will be cancelled out. So we will have AP VP is equal to AR VR is equal to AQ VQ, or we can say area into velocity is found to be constant for the steady flow, and this is called the equation of continuity. In general, we can say A into V is constant, or velocity is inversely proportional to area. Okay, this A into V gives the volume flux or flow rate and remains constant throughout the pipe of flow. At narrower portion where the streamlines are closely spaced, velocity increases, and it's vice versa where there is more area, or we can say wider area, there will be a less velocity. Widely spaced streamline indicate regions of low speed, and closely spaced streamlines indicate region of high speed. Okay, now there are definitions of critical speed, okay, white water rapids and turbulent flow. Now critical speed, steady flow is achieved at low flow speeds beyond a limiting value. This is called the critical speed. So the speed at which a steady flow is achieved, we can say. Now turbulent flow, in a fluid flow, if the velocity of the fluid changes erratically from point to point as well as from time to time, the flow is known as turbulent flow. At a particular point also velocity changes, and at that particular point, okay, the speed also, the direction also changes, time to time also the speed changes, direction of velocity changes. Okay, so erratically the velocity changes at a point, okay, with time also, then it is called the turbulent flow. Now it can also be written as if speed of fluid become more to the critical speed, this flow loses steadily, or we can say steadiness, and becomes the turbulent. White water rapids, when a fast flowing stream encounters rocks, small foamy wide, or we can say whirlpool like regions are called the white water rapids. Okay, these are sometimes we have seen whenever the fast flowing stream is hitting the rock, and there will be a foamy whirlpool or whirling liquid is seen, and that is called the white water rapids. Okay, or white water rapids are formed, we can say. Some streamlines are fluid flow here, which is shown. Okay, a jet of air striking a flat plane surface perpendicular to it, this is an example of turbulent flow. So these are the different example of different flows. Okay, now we have the Bernoulli's principle, we are going to prove it. Okay, the pipe is shown here. Now this must be drawn in your notebook, and then you will be able to understand. Okay, here this is the pipe which is kept at different heights from the ground. Try to understand. Here the height is different. Here this height of the end is H1 and the other height is H2. Okay, pressure at this end is P1, area of cross section is A1. Okay, and we have the pressure, as you know, at the first end will be force upon area, so F1 upon A1. For the second end, you can understand it easily that here the pressure is P2, area is A2, okay. So that is very clear, and the height of the end is H2 from the ground, okay. So P2 is F2 upon A2. F1 is equal to P1 into A1 because P1 is F1 upon A1, okay. Now see, force F1, that is P1 into A1, P1 into A1 exerted on fluid at point B. Try to understand this point at B. What is the force? The force exerted at this point, say B, is force exerted is F1, and that is equal to P1 into A1, okay. So force exerted at point B is P1 into A1. This must be clear to you. And this force is exerted on fluid at point B, covers distance. It covers a distance V1 delta T and reaches point C. Try to understand the distance covered is V1 delta T. Say here this distance is V1 delta T, okay. This distance is V1 delta T, where V1 is the speed at this end, okay, and at this end the speed will be different, okay, and that speed is V2. Try to understand, it is not U1, it is V2, okay. So the speed at this particular end, lower end, we can say is V1. So distance covered in time interval delta T by the fluid is V1 delta T at this point B, because of the force which is exerted at this point B, and that force is F1. F1 is equal to P1 A1. So because of this force, the distance covered by the fluid, this much distance, is V1 delta T, where V1 is the speed at this lower end, okay. So that is explained here. So work will be done, okay, and work done you can easily calculate. Work done is force into displacement, okay. So force is P1 into A1 and V1 delta T will be the displacement. So work done will be P1 A1 V1 delta T. Now try to understand this part, okay. Here just I am zooming it. Now see, this P1 is kept as it is, P1. This area into V1 delta T, A1 into V1 delta T will be the volume, that is delta V, that is volume of the fluid. Try to understand, it will be the volume of the fluid, that is delta V as such, delta V, okay. Now fluid at point D covers distance V2 delta T. Here fluid at this point D will cover the distance which is equal to V2. V2 is the speed at other end. So V2 into delta T will be the distance covered at this point D, this much distance, okay. Here the pressure is P2, area is A2, okay. So fluid at point D covers distance V2 delta T and reaches point E, the work done by the fluid. Now this is the work done by the fluid, so we take it as negative, okay. Same calculation, P2, A2, V2 delta T, but it is negative, okay. Now this A2, V2 delta T is nothing but delta V, that is volume of fluid. Now according to the equation of continuity, both fluids have same volume, because whatever volume enters at lower end will reach at the upper end. So total work done will be P1 rather W1 plus W2, okay. So it becomes P1 delta V minus P2 delta V. So So it becomes P1 minus P2 bracket and delta V is common. Okay. Now part of this work goes into changing the kinetic energy. Now this work done that we have calculated. Now where does this work is utilized, or where does it go? Some work will be utilized in changing the kinetic energy of the fluid, and some part is going to change the gravitational potential energy. So as you know, this work done is converted into, or rather used in, changing the kinetic energy and changing the potential energy, rather gravitational potential energy. Now see, the mass of the fluid of density rho at in say time interval delta t, as you know, mass is nothing but volume into density. Okay, so volume is delta V, density of the fluid which is flowing is rho. So this mass is delta m, which is moving from lower part of the tube to the upper part, that is delta m, that is rho into delta V. Now this liquid, when moves from B to D, its velocity becomes V1 to V2. You can see when the fluid is going from this point B or this section to this section, its velocity is changing from V1 to V2. Okay, V1 to V2. So work done is nothing but change in kinetic energy. Okay, as you know, so change in kinetic energy delta K is equal to 1 half m v2 square minus v1 square. Instead of this m, we have written rho into delta v, that is delta m, whatever mass has been shifted from lower portion to the upper portion, that is rho into delta v. Other all things are as it is. So delta k we obtained, okay, as work done is delta k plus delta u. So delta k we have obtained. Now delta u is change in gravitational potential energy. So the liquid is moving from h1 height, okay, to h2 height. Okay, so here the potential energy will be mgh1 at this particular height, and at this height it will be mgh2. So it becomes mgh2 minus mgh1. So delta u is obtained. Okay, that is mgh2 minus mgh1. Okay, this we have, and mg is taken common, so it is h2 minus h1. Again m is rho into delta v. Okay, so rho delta v into g, rho delta v into g, h2 minus h1. Now all the values are with us, and w is nothing but delta k plus delta u. We have to put the value of w. W is nothing but P1 minus P2 into delta V. So we shall write that, okay, here instead of w we shall write P1 minus P2 delta V. Delta k 1 by 2 rho delta V, V2 square minus V1 square, and delta u is rho delta V g into h2 minus h1. Now dividing each and every term by delta v, so this delta v will be cancelled out. Okay, so you will have P1 minus P2 1 by 2. Okay, P1 minus P2 is equal to 1 by 2 rho V2 square minus V1 square, rho g h2 minus h1. Just multiply this 1 by 2 rho with each and every term in the bracket. So it becomes 1 by 2 rho V2 square minus 1 by 2 rho V1 square. This rho g is multiplied with each and every term inside the bracket. So it becomes plus rho g h2 minus rho g h1. Now rearranging the terms, okay, just we are taking the terms which are containing 1 on left hand side. So this I have taken left hand side, this also has been taken on left hand side, and this term is taken on right hand side. So you will get P1 plus 1 by 2 rho V1 square plus rho g h1 is equal to P2 plus 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho g h2. This equation is called the Bernoulli's equation. Okay, in general we can write P plus 1 by 2 rho V square plus rho GH is equal to constant. Okay, in words, the Bernoulli's equation may be stated as follows: as moving along a streamline, the sum of the pressure, the kinetic energy per unit volume, that is 1 by 2 rho V square, and the potential energy per unit volume, that is rho GH, remains constant. Okay, so this is the Bernoulli's equation. Try to solve 2-3 times in your notebook by drawing the figure and writing the equations. Okay, thank you very much.